So I recently came back from a holiday to Denmark and Germany. Let me take you through some of the highlights of that trip and share with you some of the cool places I visited and some of the weird and wonderful LEGO things that I found along the way. Started things off in Billund, the home of LEGO, the place where it was born, and honestly I think it's one of the coolest places you can visit if you're a LEGO fan. The flight from Australia to London was 17 hours, which sucked. But with how good the holiday was, it was absolutely worth every second of that long flight. I then from London had to take a 1-hour flight to Billund, and Billund Airport was awesome. When you walk out towards the exit, there's this cool LEGO sculpture thing. It's kind of this like weird funky shape with these cool looking like kind of castle structures on it. It's actually quite nice to see LEGO almost instantly after touching down. The airport also has a LEGO store in it, but I arrived at about like 8 PM, so most of the places in the airport were closed. Plus, you'd actually have to go back in through security into the airport to get to the LEGO store. You can't really access it on the way out. And also the Billund Airport set that was exclusive to this store is no longer sold there, so there's kind of less reasons to go, sadly. So pretty early the following day, I walked past Ulkirk Christiansen's house, and this of course is the house of the founder of LEGO, and the building is now a museum and a kind of office space as well on the inside, and it's referred to as the LEGO Ideas House. I'll show you images of the inside of this later on in the video, but still, it was awesome to see this like historic building, and it made me really wish I could afford the exclusive LEGO set of this building, but boy, it's way too expensive to be able to buy it. Now, very, very close by to the Ideas House is the Home of the Brick LEGO house. It's a magical place. It's literally in the center of Billund. I was surprised just how close everything was in Billund. It is not that big of a town. In this video here, you can see I'm standing on top of the LEGO house, and then not too far away is the LEGO campus, which is basically LEGO HQ, and then Ulkirk's house is just that way, basically down the road. Now, I apologize for the video quality here. It was raining and super windy, but you can see that everything is very walkable. Now, I'll show you the insides of LEGO House in a hot minute, but first, let me show you some of the awesome things that you see just walking around Billund. LEGO really is everywhere in this town. It shows up in a lot of weird and strange places. For example, here's a weird statue of a horse dude shaking hands with a Technic figure. You know, like the classic Technic figures that appeared in the older Technic sets. It was pretty weird, but it's also really cool. There's a few other LEGO-related statues around Billund as well, but yeah, the horse dude hanging out with a Technic figure, definitely the strangest one. There's all sorts of LEGO buildings and interesting signage and things dotted around the place that are LEGO-related. A lot of it is off-limits to go inside because it's, LEGO factories and offices and stuff like that, or it's where they make sets, and you definitely can't look at that confidential stuff. But there's no reason you can't walk around outside it and have a look around, have a cheeky peek, and just appreciate the coolness that is where they make LEGO. As long as you keep a safe distance, don't be weird about it. Now, there's also a surprising amount of offices and homes and buildings that have LEGO sets in their windows. So it's fun to walk around and play Spot the LEGO set because, again, it's everywhere. I got to walk past the old Modulex factory, Modulex of course being a variation of LEGO bricks that were designed for professional architectural modeling. Now, it was made in the 60s and it's not produced anymore, and Modulex isn't even really like a subsidiary of LEGO anymore, but still, I loved walking past a little bit of LEGO history like this. It was cool. Now, also, Europe has a lot of outdoor smoking rooms, which is a little bit different from how it is in Australia and from my experiences in America. So you see them all over the place, but we walked past one that had these LEGO stud dots on the side. Now, these dots are on a few different buildings that were LEGO related, so yeah, it seemed strange to have a LEGO branded smoking room, but there you go. And hey, if you think that's odd, just wait until I show you the LEGO gun that's later on in this video. Oh, and I also got to see plenty of LEGO trucks driving by, or even actually dropping off LEGO at the campus. Honestly, just such a cool sight, especially because I had the set that looked pretty similar to these. So it's cool to see that come to life. So speaking of the campus, you can't really go into the campus unless you're an employee, but you can totally walk around the building, and honestly, it's a lovely experience and a lovely building. I love how there's, like LEGO bricks and different sort of stud iconography and LEGO iconography that's just ingrained into the architectural design of this building. It's just a bit of a delight. I mean, even things like this big yellow part on the top of the building here, it kind of looks like a big old LEGO brick of some kind, it's cool. Oh, and then of course there's a huge minifigure out the front. It's just the best. Now, again, I looked in the windows to see if they were, accidentally put a LEGO set out the front of the window and spoiled some future stuff. There was some interesting stuff in the windows, but I highly doubt they were future LEGO sets. I was also told by designers that they will never place new sets right by the windows because, they've got protocol and all sorts of stuff, so none of that ever happens. But still, it was fun to look at the windows and see the cool models that were on display, and the weird ones that I couldn't identify, they were likely MOCs that the people who worked there made. You can also see the employee-only store from the outside. There are crazy good discounts in there. I was allowed to shop in there during the LEGO Inside tour. Unfortunately, I couldn't take photos of the inside, but easily one of the coolest LEGO stores I've visited. Now, near the campus, there's this cool parking garage, and I adore how it looks from the outside. They make it look like the LEGO road base plates. That's just so fun. Honestly, it's just such a joy to see all these little nods to LEGO everywhere that you go in Billund. Oh yeah, there was also some cool wildlife scattered around the LEGO campus. I love these little guys. And also, a lot of the employees ride in on bicycles, and yes, there are in fact LEGO branded bikes. Plus, no one in Billund actually locks their bikes down, they just kind of leave them there. It's literally a utopia. No stealing, no crime, only LEGO. So after spending a little bit of time in Billund, I attended the Skaerbaek Fan Weekend LEGO convention. Now, the first day was not actually in Skaerbaek, it was the AFOL day back at LEGO House. Now, LEGO House, it's the home of the brick. It's a place for LEGO fans of all ages to be creative, be inspired by LEGO, and see a bunch of really cool LEGO stuff. And when I say cool LEGO stuff, oh baby, there's a lot of cool LEGO stuff. Like, for example, the absolutely massive tree of creativity. I mean, just look at the base. There's a pile of big old plant and tree pieces and stuff, and all of that leads up to what is essentially kind of a life-size LEGO tree. But like a big life-size LEGO tree, not even like a little tiny one or something, it's huge. And now there's all sorts of little Easter eggs carved into the tree. Most of them are references to old LEGO products or to the different CEOs and members of the Christiansen family. And then each of the branches of the tree showcase different LEGO themes and different LEGO sets. They often switch out what's on those branches, so new displays come in all the time. This is so cool. It's such a lovely tribute to all sorts of different themes and sets and just LEGO itself. And the crane at the top, I just adore this tree. I spent so long looking at it. It's beautiful. Now, once you climb up the stairs that are around the Tree of Creativity, you enter the Masterpiece Gallery. The 3 dinosaurs in the center of the Masterpiece Gallery, they're incredible. One, of course, being made of Duplo, the other being made of system LEGO bricks, and the final one being made of Technic to showcase the current different ways that you can play with LEGO, the 3 different types of pieces. Really impressive. And also, the Masterpiece Gallery, it's home to some of the best LEGO MOCs from AFOLs all across the world. LEGO actually handpicks these different builders, and they rotate the displays in the Masterpiece Gallery every year. Now, I'm actually going to do a separate video showcasing everything here in the Masterpiece Gallery, so stay tuned for that one. But I did have the pleasure of hanging out with the legendary Ralph Langer, who some of his stuff was there in the Masterpiece Gallery. A real pleasure to be able to see his MOCs in person. But he showed me a MOC that he was debating on putting in the display, but there wasn't room for it, which was his awesome Wave MOC. Surreal to see that in person. I adore his stuff. And it was even better to hang out with Ralph. He was a lovely person. So yeah, just so much cool stuff. Now, LEGO House has lots of places to build and lots of surprisingly fun games that you can play there too. There's a few different images and videos here showcasing those games, but legit, go to LEGO House. It's such a fun way to spend your day and you will not regret it. I had a blast going there. One other special thing that was on display during this time that I was there at LEGO House was these early designs and prototyping for the recent Disney collectible minifigure series. It was so cool to see the thinking behind how they were designed, and so interesting to see these blown up figures that help them visualize the tiny details that they're trying to work on a bit more easily since it's bigger, and then they shrink it down to minifigure scale. Also, what I wouldn't give to have one of those massive minifigure shoulder cape pieces. How helpful would that be for Bionicle MOCs? Insanely cool. There's also this really cool place where people who are in the Masterpiece Gallery, they get their 6 red LEGO bricks, which everyone at LEGO House gets access to, but the Masterpiece Gallery people get to put them in this nice display here. And it's an example of showing the millions of different ways that you can stack your 6 2x4 bricks. Here's a few photos of builders that I recognized up on this wall. I've mentioned them before on the Bionicle Inspiration series or on other videos on this channel. We've got Patrick Biggs, we've got Matt Goldberg, as well as Bruce Lowell, Blackley Cat, and also Jafer. Really cool to see their signatures and their bricks here. And maybe the best part of LEGO House is the incredible museum at the basement of the building. It's filled with so much nostalgia and so many wonderful old classic Lego sets. And yes, there are in fact multiple Bionicle sets in the museum, including this old Bionicle commercial that was playing. And man, that hit me so hard watching that commercial again, and seeing it in person in this museum, just a delight. Took me right back to being a kid. Now there was also this sketch on display which appeared to be an early visualization of Bionicle. Just wild to see something like that. I'll show you a few more highlights of the great sets and the lovely displays in this museum, but again, I really recommend that you go and you see all of this for yourself. It's so worth it and such a rewarding experience. And hey, if you love Lego and can appreciate its history, you're gonna love it. I mean, I learned so much just going to this part of Lego House. But yeah, a full day at Lego House was a delight, and I got to hang out with so many cool people on that day. Then the next few days, we were at the Skaerbaek Fan Weekend, which is in Skaerbaek, a town that's maybe about an hour's drive from Billund, Denmark. The convention was one of the coolest I've been to, so let me show you a few highlights of some of the incredible MOCs that were on display at the convention. I'm going to move through some of these decently fast because the individual videos showcasing these in detail, well, they're on their way very soon. Check out this awesome Battle of Naboo by Alexander Dombrowski. Insane to see so many battle droids and Gungan figures all having a big old fight on this huge diorama, and the landscape looks great too. Marcel Dier's mock of an untitled Star Wars battle shows off some of the coolest Lego lighting I've probably ever seen. It really makes me feel like this is a scene straight out of Clone Wars, all because this lighting is creating such an incredible mood and atmosphere. Plus this AAT at the back here, very well made, love that. Probably my favourite mock at the Skaerbaek Fan Weekend was this medieval port built by Arne Belzer. I love all the incredible details that make the architecture on this beautiful diorama look so realistic, the weathering, the textures on the walls there, it's just next level. So well built and just so impressive to see. Torben de Schlid has made some great mosaics featuring Rex and Commander Cody. Always love a good mosaic build, and these look awesome. And then there was also this really great display of some awesome classic, old and vintage Lego sets. Now unfortunately there wasn't a MOC card for these at the show, so I sadly can't credit who actually brought these. But seeing all these together in one incredible display, I like that. I'm not normally a fan of seeing sets at conventions, I like seeing MOCs at conventions, but when it's a bit of history like this, I really do like it. It's insane to see how much all the packaging has changed over the years, and seeing some items here that I've just never seen before, it's wow. They even have this old Lego customer service letter that was sent to a fan back in the day. There's also this awesome old Lego MP3 player, which, yeah, look at that, it holds 2 whole gigabytes. And then check out this one set. Why does this poor kid look like he's having a bad time and is about to cry while he's playing with Lego? I mean, who took this photo and was like, oh yeah, that works, whatever. I mean, the kid below is having a ball. He looks so happy, but this poor little dude up top, I'm sorry, guy. The last display that I'll cover, again, there were heaps, but videos showcasing those are on the way. This one is by Jesper Anderson, and he's brought his collection of business card minifigures. So if you don't know, Lego employees used to give out minifigures with their details printed on the back so that it acted like a business card, which is so clever. And now these are very hard to get. You normally have to meet the employee to actually get one, or you've got to buy them online if they show up online, and normally they're quite rare and quite expensive if they show up online. So it's cool to see so many in one place here. And then speaking of employees, while I was there, I had the chance of meeting George Gilliatt. He's an old friend of mine who's now a Lego designer. And he's the man who's responsible for giving us Chibi Tahu in the old 90th anniversary set. God bless this man, and he was a delight to speak to and meet. I'll end with a little bit of footage of some of the cabins that we stayed at during the fan weekend. Very pretty. The convention was good fun. Alright, after that I took a long train ride to Munich, but hey, the scenery on the way was very lovely. But while I was there, I visited all 3 of the Lego stores that were there, and sure, most Lego stores have basically the same stock, but dude, every Lego store is so fun to visit, and some of the unique models at these Lego stores, they were really cool. Something else that was nice about going to Denmark and Germany, a lot of the trains there look a lot like actual Lego sets. I mean, this one, for example, is clearly what inspired this Lego set. Seeing real-life Lego sets like this is something extra special. One of the Lego stores had a display case with this epic MOC in it. It was built by Hellboy Bricks on Instagram, and I've seen this MOC online before, so it was an unexpected but absolute pleasure to be able to see this in person. After that, headed up to Legoland, Germany, which was oh, so good. The Miniland models there were wonderful. I think Miniland is probably actually my favorite part of any Legoland. And yeah, I want to say I've been to 4 different Legolands in my lifetime, and all of them, I've enjoyed the Miniland the most. So yeah, always a pleasure to take a look at the good Miniland displays. Oh, but one of the biggest highlights of my holiday was when I went on the Bionicle ride at Legoland Germany. A relic of the past, and I was surprised it was still a thing. But the ride has this huge, very impressive looking Bionicle G2 poster. I want one. But the actual ride itself, you get to sit on these chairs, and then a big old arm kind of moves you around in all these different directions, and you ask the person what specific level of intensity you want, and it was actually a really fun ride. Although I don't really see how it's exactly all that Bionicle-like. I guess it looks like a mechanical arm or something, but yeah, I'm just glad a Bionicle ride even existed. Oh, and then I can cross this off my bucket list. I got a photo with Wenua. Dream come true. I wish I could buy that Wenua statue as well, even though it would be a lot of money. And then one of the best little details outside of this ride, there's a Metru foot imprint in the concrete there. That was such a fun little Easter egg that I'm so glad I noticed. I did get a massive pick-a-brick haul at the German Legoland here, but I'll save that for another video because it'll take ages to show everything. But oi, this is the best place in the world to get pick-a-brick. So impressive. Now, shortly after that, I went back to Denmark and stayed with my friends Patrick Biggs and Madison Stapleton, who have appeared many times on this channel before. Now, their house had the coolest Bionicle stuff. Patrick showed me his rare Bionicle pieces, his misprints, his non-production parts collection. Oh, the coolest thing in the world. I mean, look at these insane Strack masks. These are wild. He also had this cool, bizarre gully mask. And Madison showed me this just brilliant Borok sweater, which is the best thing ever. It's unfortunately for a small child, and it could not be worn. You can see, for scale, that little deodorant bottle there. It's tiny. But man, if I could, I'd wear that every day. Also, check out this cool employee gift that Madison got. It's got these exclusive minifigures with these unique torso prints, and then this interesting card that comes with it that's this interesting like puzzle challenge thing that the employees got to do. You also get this cool little puzzle box with it as well, and yeah, the employee gifts that they get are beyond awesome. It was great to hold and look at something so unique like this. Oh, and say hi to Patrick and Madison's cat as well. Oh yeah, and I also picked up some Duplo while I was in Denmark as well, but not the Duplo you were expecting. I don't know how this is allowed to exist, but it does, and oi, it's actually really good chocolate. It's kind of like a Kit Kat, a Kinder chocolate bar, and Nutella all rolled into one. It's so tasty. So yeah, edible Duplo. Up next, I went to Legoland Billund, and I went with Patrick Biggs this time too. We checked out the awesome Miniland here, which I really liked the one in Germany, but this one might be the best I've been to in the world. There was so much here, and all of it was just really cool. We were there during Halloween, so there were lots of Halloween editions as well that really brightened up the park. Another thing that brightened up the park, though, was the fact that heaps of people brought their dogs. Like heaps of them. There were so many. It was great. Even Patrick was impressed. Anyway, we're here to talk about Lego. It was nice to see a little behind the scenes here where old mate was working on repairing one of the Lego trains, so it was cool to see the Lego bit taken off and all the inner workings underneath. Now, given the age of some of these models, and the fact that they're out in the open all the time, there's a bit of fading and some more unique colours that form because of that fading, as well as a bit of like extra dirt and grit all over the Lego and stuff. But I don't know, to be honest, a lot of the times it kind of works and kind of looks cool. Like you can see here, you get some interesting textures, and oftentimes some of these nice colours, I wish they were actual real colours. I mean, look at this sort of dulled down sand green. I kind of wish that was a colour, it's surprisingly pretty. Now, here's a part of Miniland that's using some of the Lego granules in green, and now these are the sort of raw Lego bricks before they're injected into the mold and become actual Lego bricks. But it's cool to see them as a part of the design work here on these actual models. You know, using them as plants and flowers and things. And as nice as it is, this is never really something that would be that easy to do as an AFOL because it's very hard to get those granules. And of course, they're gluing them on there, but I like the idea. The park itself is packed full of all sorts of, fun Lego nods and different references to sets and classic themes. And the rides are actually pretty decent, by the way. I was worried they'd be a little bit more for kids, but doing them as an adult was really fun. So yeah, great models, great rides, there was a lot to love. Especially too, you got to go on the big observation tower and get a nice view of the whole park, which, yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. Good to see the park in its full glory. Also loved seeing my boy Johnny Thunder and plenty of representation for the adventurers theme, and also a plethora of brilliant castle stuff. Always delightful to see castle being represented. So that's it for Legoland Billund. Now the inside tour begins. I'm only going to show you a few highlights of the inside tour. I'm going to leave out a little bit here. Now, there's some things that I actually just straight up couldn't show you because I signed an NDA, but there's other things that I don't think I want to show you because I would rather you do the inside tour yourself and you actually experience that. I don't want to spoil the magic, you know? So you get put up in the Legoland Hotel for the inside tour, and the room you stay in is kind of awesome. A lot of nice Lego decor, and you get a great view of the Legoland Park from the hotel room as well. On day one, you head to the Ideas House, which is that exclusive museum that we were talking about before. It is off limits to the public, but there's so much awesome stuff in there. There's plenty of old wooden toys that you can see, and lots of written information about the history of Lego. It's all fascinating, and seeing those wooden toys, and especially seeing them in perfect condition, it's just impressive. Makes me wish that I had some of those wooden toys. They'd be an amazing thing to have in my collection, but they are not easy to find. Can't say I've ever seen one for sale. So plenty of cool wooden toys, but the one that really stands out is this Lego wooden gun. Yes, a Lego wooden gun. You can see the Lego logo on the bottom and everything. The Lego historian who showed us around the museum was saying that this was made well before the current anti-modern war guidelines were put in place by Lego. So this is just a relic from another time when things were very different. Now Lego would certainly never make something like this. The rest of the museum is just brilliant. There's so many wonderful displays showcasing not only the classic wooden toys, but the early plastic toys, including this replica of the original Lego brick patent. And then as we move on, we get into the actual Lego stuff and go through all the years up until modern times. And yep, there's even some love for Bionicle and even a little bit more love for some of the other construction waves too, which was just great. Always good to see my favorite construction themes represented and on display. We also got a cheeky peek into the secret Star Wars room within the museum. There's a few other hidden rooms as well, but the Star Wars one is probably one of the coolest ones. It just looks awesome, and seeing all these brilliant Star Wars sets up on display, that's one of a kind. It's so cool. There were plenty of weird and wonderful sets to look at here, and the museum was certainly a massive highlight for me. But we got a cheeky peek at I would definitely say the thing that gave me the most euphoric feeling I've ever felt in my life, the Lego Vault. I'll show you a few images of this now, but stay tuned for a more in-depth video on the vault coming very soon. So yeah, this is an archive of basically every Lego set. It was so surreal to be surrounded by your entire childhood of sealed Lego sets, every single one that exists. It was just so pretty. The vault even had some more of the wooden toys in it, including another copy of that same gun that we saw before, and even a few rifles as well that are also wooden. Yep, official Lego wooden rifles. Didn't think I'd say that, but there they are, they exist. Moving on, we had a lovely evening of building, and the part selection that Lego let us build with was just insane. This was such a fun evening and just an awesome experience. You know, to be able to build a mock in Lego House, in Billund, the home of the brick, I'll never forget that. I ended up building this cool spaceship, and in my previous haul video, here's the thumbnail for that one, I'll have a link to it in the description below, I showed off the trophy that this ended up winning and talk a little bit more about this experience, so be sure to check out that video if you want a little bit more info on this. We also visited the factory where they make Lego bricks. I got to go inside, but I couldn't film any of that, and I certainly can't talk about any of that, so here's images of the factory from the outside. We then headed back to Lego Campus, and this time I got to go inside. Inside, I had the pleasure of meeting the current LEGO CEO, and here's a photo of me with him. There's also some fan models on display at the LEGO campus. Most of them, I believe, are from a Danish lug. The models are very fun to look at, and there's some nice castle displays. These are probably some of my favorites here. A lot of incredible landscape techniques, and I like seeing these little Harry Potter wand spruce pieces being used on the door there. Very clever. But yeah, I believe most of these castle MOCs were built by Soren Jansson, but there were also plenty of other brilliant creations, including a few Bionicle MOCs. These were built by Anders Sinding. Great to see some interesting bases on these Bionicles. These are very well made. The lower levels of LEGO Campus had lots of incredible models, including the life-size LEGO Bugatti that you've most likely seen LEGO post about online. It was marvelous to see this in front of me. I mean, look at the cool chrome pieces that don't exist. Those are definitely Q parts, but hey, they really complete the look. This thing is just so impressive. So yeah, look, there was heaps more that happened during the inside tour, but like I said, I don't want to spoil the magic if you do get lucky enough to get accepted into the inside tour. It's unfortunately not an easy thing to do, but I hope it happens to you one day. Once that was all wrapped up, I ended my trip in Copenhagen. Got to see a cool castle, which is definitely going to give me some inspiration for some future castle MOCs. I also visited briefly the Lego store in Copenhagen, and then even got to see a few more Lego models at the Copenhagen airport, much like these ones. Plus there is a Lego store at Copenhagen airport as well. So that was the awesome holiday that I went on. I'm now very broke though, but hey, it was worth it. It was great fun. So stay tuned for those other videos I mentioned before, showcasing all the different stuff that I was like, oh, I'll talk about it in another video. They're coming as soon as I can edit them. Oh, and don't forget to check the links in the description, by the way. I'll include links to basically everything I mention in this video, including more details about the Skaerbaek Fan Weekend, the inside tour, and I'll even put social media to most of the people that I mention in this video, like Ralph Langer and all the different builders. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Go to Billund. Do it.